Hi, I'm Father Jim Martin, editor-at-large at America Media and author of Learning to Pray, a guide for everyone, published by Harper One and available everywhere books are sold. At age 27, I entered the Jesuit novitiate, and I knew very little about prayer. How do you pray? Are there different ways to pray? How do I know which one is right for me? Most of all, I wanted to know what happens when you pray. And frankly, this is one of the most overlooked and even ignored topics in books on prayer. They talk about the fruits of prayer or feeling close to God, but you may want to know, what happens when you close your eyes? Well, the answer is a lot of things. And one of the key insights of prayer is to accept that what comes up in your prayer, when you close your eyes, when you're praying with a passage from the Bible, when you imagine yourself speaking with Jesus, are key ways that God has of communicating with us. Let's look at just 3 fruits of prayer that I mention in my book, Learning to Pray. First, insights. You may be praying with a passage from the Bible, say Jesus raising Lazarus from the dead. Suddenly, you realize that you feel called to let go of something that is preventing you from living fully and freely. Maybe some selfish habit or unhealthy attachment to something. And you want to, in a sense, leave it behind in the tomb. You realize that Jesus is offering you new life. You don't get emotional about it, it's more of an intellectual realization. See in these insights a possibility that God is communicating with you. Second, emotions. Maybe you're walking by yourself, imagining yourself speaking to Jesus. You're worried about a lot of things in your life, and you imagine yourself telling Jesus about all your concerns. Suddenly, you get this great sense of joy, or peace, or stillness. You had been pretty anxious, but now you're noticeably calmer. Now, some might chalk that up to a coincidence, but if you think about it, if you're with God in an intentional way, why wouldn't God respond in this way? Why wouldn't God want to give you the gift of calm? Take seriously emotions that are raised up in prayer as ways of God's communicating with you. Finally, memories. You're in a church and looking for some comfort during a dark time in your life. You start to ask God for some help. Then you remember a time from many years ago when things also looked dark, and you were able to get through it with the help of your friends. You're not sure why this memory has come up, and it seems to get in the way of your prayer. Well, that memory may be one way that God has of inviting you to trust during a tough time, saying, I was with you then. Why wouldn't I be with you now? All sorts of things come up during prayer. Insights, emotions, memories, as well as other things I talk about in my book, Learning to Pray. Words and phrases, feelings, desires, even mystical experiences. The key is to start to believe that these may be ways God has of communicating with us in prayer. Learning to Pray, a guide for everyone, is published by Harper One and available everywhere books are sold.